Welcome to the Oracle GoldenGate YouTube video series. Oracle GoldenGate is the industry's premier multi-cloud technology for building real-time data fabrics, data mesh, and data replication solutions. With class-leading, high-throughput, and extremely low-latency streaming data, Oracle GoldenGate is in a league of its own. Thousands of customers in over 180 countries globally trust GoldenGate with their most important data, and GoldenGate is consistently rated as a top leader for data integration and enterprise data fabrics. One key reason that GoldenGate is one of the most successful integration tools in history is the consistent innovation over more than 20 years. GoldenGate has notched many industry firsts for modern event-driven streaming data solutions. Oracle GoldenGate is first and foremost known for its data event capabilities, including long-time leadership for data high availability, transaction replication, and change data capture. More recently, since 2015, the most successful areas of GoldenGate have been in the areas of data pipelines and stream analytics. Modern technology solutions demand real-time data ingestion, streaming ETL for low latencies, and best-of-breed analytics on data in motion. GoldenGate delivers modern time series analysis in a no-code development package with enterprise-class data governance, including best-in-class data security, data verification, and a rich metadata catalog. Another reason that GoldenGate is so successful is that it is truly a tool for all enterprises, supporting a huge variety of common databases, applications, NoSQL data stores, clouds, and messaging systems in a powerful low-latency data fabric. GoldenGate's modern microservices architecture is the foundation of real-time data events for the event-driven business. With an easy-to-use browser-based user interface and available cloud services for just pennies per hour, there's nothing stopping you from realizing the future today. Try GoldenGate for free, follow this link for more information. And now, onwards to the video you came for.
Thank you. So as you've already heard, the classic architecture is deprecated in GoldenGate 21c. This means, the deprecation means that we are in the last stage of this product life cycle before this functionality really gets supported. So it's still available, but customers might be aware that in the future there won't be any classic or legacy GoldenGate anymore. So it's time for the customers to think about migration paths to microservice architectures, right? So the question is, how does such a procedure look like? Is it difficult? Is it easy? So clear answer, it's very simple. And this is what I want to show you in this demo. So it's thrilled to show you the kind of migration utility that we have. And I show you an example how we are migrating from a classic architecture to the microservice architecture. Before going into the demo, I just want to cover a couple of aspects in here. So if we're talking about the migration of the processes from classic to microservice architecture, it's about the migration of extract replicates that moves over. So they remain the same, they are simply migrated. This is a little bit different with the pumps as the secondary extract, or pumps as we say in the classic architecture. They will be created with a distribution path. And all the other belonging objects that we have in our GoldenGate environment, such as trail files, checkpoint, credentials, etc., they all will be seamlessly migrated, so you don't have to care about that. The process is very simple, as I've said. We have a microservice deployment, empty microservice deployment at the very beginning. We are stopping the classic deployment, so stopping extract replicates, distribution, the manager process, and then we have these interactive migration utility that I'll show you in a minute. We might want to alter the pumps. I have one example of how I will make this. And at the very end, you also have to start the newly migrated extract replicate and distribution paths in the microservice deployment again. So a few requirements or prerequisites. So this utility is available for sure for Oracle databases, but it's not only about Oracle databases, it's also for the other vendors such as DB2, MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, And a couple of weeks ago, we have even added the big data part. And I think Dennis will talk about big data within the next session. One of the prerequisites that we have is that you have in your classic GoldenGate environment the GoldenGate version 19.1 with a bundle patch 2007. So it's July 27, which is almost 2 years old. This is one of those prerequisites. Yes, the new microservice deployment must be visible within our system so that we really can make this deployment as we are moving files. And the classic deployment must be stopped during this process. So if we are migrating our environment, we have the situation that we have source and target systems. So the question is, where do we start? Are we migrating the source first, or is it the target that we are migrating from classic to microservice, or vice versa? So all options are available, as you can see here in this matrix. Alex, the previous presenter, was creating a YouTube video about the migration in a hub deployment. I will point to this video later. And what I want to show is the migration of the source system from migrating from the classic to microservice environment. And if time permits, we will do also the same thing for the target system, so that we would have a purely migration, an entirely migration of a unidirectional environment. So let's head over, go to the demo. Just a quick picture in here. So we have the source system, which will be migrated to the microservices, and the pump will be exchanged with the distribution path. The target system remains in classic mode. Okay, so I'm showing you the one picture from the microservice architecture that I have in here. So we have here our deployment with all these services up and running, and you also see the ports which are available. And we have the admin service. So at the time, it's a purely empty deployment. So there are no extracts and replicates running. Now I'm just going over to the environment of my classic environment, of my classic GoldenGate deployment. And I have already shown that we have the appropriate GoldenGate version. I usually take the latest bundle patch within GoldenGate, or the latest RU, which is the general recommendation. So as I've mentioned earlier, July 2020, it's already almost 2 years ago. So we have the wide version. And let me just go into this deployment. So we have the processes up and running. And I have a heartbeat in the background, so this produces a couple of records since yesterday night. So the first thing that we want to do is that we are stopping the processes. To stop, we are stop. Stop, we are stop. Processes are getting stopped, info all. We see that the processes are stopped. Then we are stopping the manager process. Okay, so now we are, let's have a look again. Everything is stopped now. So now we have the time to do the migration. And if you're going to the migration utility is provided with a patch. And if you unzip this patch, you have multiple files in here. So the most interesting file is this OGG jar file. And let's have a look into this. Java minus jar. This is the way how we are executing this. Minus hub. So we have the usage in here. So we have to take the classic home. We have to address this classic home. In case of any issues, we might want to debug this process. So we would write additional information out into the log files. we could also do a dry one. As I've tested this out a couple of days earlier, so I'm pretty sure that it's working, so I don't need the dry one anymore. We are just going over and run the migration utility immediately. So let's do it with this minus classic home. I'm just choosing the environment here. Yeah. And then we will be prompted for the new GoldenGate environment that we have. So we are already figuring out that there's a microservice environment running in the background. We have to log in GGMA, the username that I have for microservices, the password. Now we will be questioned if this is what deployment that you want to migrate. We have the extract and distribution, the pump process. Wish to continue. The processes are being migrated. You will see that all these little tiny aspects like these credential store, it's copied over, the parameter files, and all these the fail files as well. And now we will be prompted to use the URI for the distribution path. Now, if you're talking about the distribution path, keep in mind that we have 3 different protocols for the distribution path. So the highly recommended secure WebSocket protocol, WSS, WebSocket protocol, WS, or the legacy OGG protocol. So now, as the target system, it's still remaining as a classic architecture. I stick to the legacy OGG protocol. I just have to enter, and then we are good with it. I don't want to migrate the globals because I have already done this with the deployment on the system. Now let's have a look into my environment once again, going to the web page. So we see here that the extract process is created. And as I've mentioned earlier, we haven't started it yet. So let's get it started. Extract process is up and running. And now let's go to the distribution path, which should be visible in here. Okay, here we are. And you notice the protocol that we are using, right? It's 7809, which is the old OGG protocol. So I can start it in here. Let's get it started. And now we are good. So our application is working fine. Let's give it a second. Okay, here we are. Let's have a look into the details. And we can check the statistics, and we already see that our heartbeat tables are coming across. So this looks fine, and to be honest, this was already the migration of the source system. So you might see in your old environment that we still have files. And you see from the migration, but we are changing the checkpoint files with the status being migrated. So if you're starting GTSDI now, there's nothing that you have to be aware of. Now we can do the same thing with the target system. Let's see if that works fine. So let's go into the GTSDI. We are stopping the replicate. Stopping manager. Okay, it stopped. Before I'm going to this one, I just want to make sure that I'm also stopping the distribution path in here, because we are now changing the protocol in parallel. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going back to the migration utility, and I'm migrating now the other environment, the 21C target system, so it's a GGMA. Do we want to continue? Yes, we want to continue. Now we don't have the distribution paths. We see parts are getting copied over. We don't need the globals, and we are good. So let's have a look into the WI. I'm just going back to the slide here and see that the extra replicate is created. Okay, we can start the replicate. So replicate is up and running in a second. Now, one thing we still have to remember, I'm going over to the distribution surface in here. The distribution path now is connecting to another system. So if I would start right now at the distribution path would immediately append. What I would like to do now is that I'm just changing the distribution path, the distribution path from the OGG protocol to the secure WebSocket protocol. And then I can also rename the process because it does not look really nice. So I'm just going back in here and put my environment for my system, and I can use now admin client. Remember in the previous presentation that Alex was talking about the admin client, that it's very similar to the GTSCI. So this is what I'm using right now. So I'm connecting now to this deployment. You see that we have processes up and running, so that's fine. We have the disk path, which is stopped. Take this disk path and look for the details. And I see here the current checkpoint that we are using. Because I'm now deleting the distribution path and create a new one, I will take it this way. I'm just going to show. I was preparing a little obey file script. And shall obey. So we have here the obey file. And I'm just, after I will add the file, I will just change the position where the process will start. Again, show more. I don't have to keep everything in mind. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm starting the distribution path with the OGG protocol. Now I'm creating the new one with a new name, DPNS, from the northern to the southern region. Have the source 12 using the WSS protocol for the target. And I also have the authentication in my environment. I have the secure deployment. So I'm using this one. And now I also have to reposition this path so that we are starting at the point where the earlier one was stopped. We do that, and now we are starting the distribution path. And that's it. So we can have a look into the deployment. Just going back again in here. And you will see that let's go to this here. Go to the distribution path. Let's have a look first to the replicate. So we see the statistics changes are already coming over, as you see from here, and to the distribution path, that the path is also running. Yes, just going back to the presentation. So this was the first step that I was doing. I still had enough time. I was taking a little bit more, so I was also doing the migration from the target system. And here are the steps that I was doing with the admin client to recreate the distribution path to the WSS protocol. And now this is the environment for the complete unidirectional environment, the migration for the complete unidirectional environment that I was migrating. Yes, as I've mentioned earlier, we have the migration utility from Alex. the example for the deployment. The migration utility itself is available as a patch, and yeah, just have a look and have fun with it. So that's it about